Hi guys, my name's Nick and this is Gino.
Hey, hey!
We're here with VIP Adventures and we're here in beautiful, just outside of beautiful Sedona here on a gorgeous morning, enjoying this incredible Native American archaeological site right now. And
Yeah, look at where we are at. Is
it's
this
special.
incredible?
It is special.
Yeah. So today we're talking about mindfulness, awareness, and self-awareness, and so we're going to kind of go through some of that practical application and how it applies to us in everyday life and all of those things, and also how our ancient ancestors used it and how we use it today and every day to benefit our life, and how you can ease into that and approach and make this part of your life.
Exactly. You know, we're looking to help you guys understand a little better how to take some of these concepts and internalize them and apply them to your own life to better yourself, but also how to use those same tools to help access the outdoors and do some of the things that we're going to be doing today as well. We're really excited to share this with you guys, so let's get started.
Absolutely. Excellent.
So what do you say if we start by talking about self-awareness a little bit? Like, what is self-awareness? Of course, self-awareness is one's ability to understand your own thoughts, your own emotions, and be in line and have awareness as a kind of self-described of what's going on up here and what's going on here. And also your body as well. The physical realm is just as much something that you can be aware of, self-aware of, as your mental and spiritual health. So we really want to get into that quite a bit today, guys. And we're also going to talk about mindfulness as well. Gino, would you mind talking about mindfulness?
Right. So mindfulness is being present and bringing yourself into the moment. And I think that, you know, we take a lot of people out and do a lot of incredible adventurous things and experiences. And one thing is for sure that you can see a divide between people who have the ability to be present in the moment and really absorb the awe that you experience, say, at the Grand Canyon and Zion and in many of the great places that we get to go and see and do. And it is, mindfulness can be practiced with a little bit of effort to bring you into a higher level of awareness.
Absolutely. And you know, to take that one step further, it's also how we interact with the world around us. It's not just our own presence of mind for our own experience, but it's also how our experience, how our presence impacts those around us, or minimizes the impact around us. Being mindful of others, being mindful of the natural world around us, and how we navigate through it and how it impacts everything around us. You know, I know you just came back from beautiful Japan, and you spoke so highly of how the people in that society were so mindful, courteous, and aware of each other, and that is something that you really took back from that experience, and how we're learning how to use some of those as examples of how we can apply it to our lives here. And we want to share some of those same concepts with you all.
It was a phenomenal experience, and no matter how crowded things were, everybody seemed to be aware of each other's presence and not infringing on rights.
Exactly. Yep.
Which was an incredible opportunity to experience that, and then bring some of that back and try to develop tools to help us spread that and use that in our adventures, and then be able to bring that back into your own lifetime,
Absolutely.
my lifetime, your lifetime, and your lifetime. You know.
Exactly.
So some of the things that some of the benefits that we see in self-awareness and everything, you know, are better decision making.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So that's an important thing. We want better decision making, and you know, what others.
Well, to even expand on better decision making, you know, just to break that down a little bit more, you think about if you are aware of your mental state, if you're aware of your capabilities, if you're aware of your physical limitations, that self-awareness helps you better navigate what to do, how to do, when to act, when not to act, and that just leads to generally better outcomes, smarter, more thorough decisions. So that, just wanted to bring that up. On top of that, self-awareness is something that can help you live a more stress-free life, right? Because when you are aware and also mindful of your own mental health, your own physical health, you're only going to, this goes back to decision making, you're only going to put yourself in a position where the decisions that you make for yourself and for those around you are generally going to be more informed, better informed. And the more informed we are in the decisions we make, is only going to lead to generally better outcomes.
Right, and you're talking about emotional intelligence.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you have an emotional experience, we all a positive emotional experience. Yeah, hey, whoa, we're excited. Like
We all know
came
that.
up
Yeah,
here.
that's
Oh
what
my
we got right
God,
up here. Exactly.
we were so excited.
Yep.
But a negative emotional experience, we all have them.
Yes.
One of the key things then is that experience, every experience you have is neuropeptides, it's a chemical experience, and those emotions will tie to organs in your body and can be brought up later. And so learning to deal with that, learning how to do that, and that's what self-awareness does,
Yeah.
what mindfulness does, is allows us to do that and be able to release those emotions.
Yes.
And so we're working on some of those things, and we do that through our experiences out here.
Yeah.
Better decision making, more emotional intelligence, and everything. And then how about mindfulness?
Yeah, mindfulness is to me one of the most important qualities any human can possess and continue to work on. Mindfulness to me really dictates how I see and give and receive respect in the world. And what I mean by that is, the more mindful I am of myself and how my interactions and my decisions impact everything around me, the inanimate objects, the living objects, people, animals. It really helps to establish a sense of respect between them. By being mindful of others, by being mindful of other things, it really helps to satiate the needs of others, even if they're not explicit about what those needs might be. And when you can foresee what someone's needs might be by being mindful, you build a deeper, better connection with that person. I mean, that's what we do with our people all the time. When we take people out to beautiful places like this, Grand Canyon, Zion, as you mentioned before, we're constantly being mindful of our guest experience. We're constantly being mindful of how others around us are impacted by the way that we navigate through those spaces. And when we can elevate our awareness, both our self-awareness and our mindfulness of others, it really just creates a more positive space for all involved. It really helps to uplift the experience that you're having personally, and also it naturally induces a presence of mind, which only immerses yourself more.
There you go, right there. That's the big one, is immersion into an experience.
Yes.
And so we do our best to provide an experience and an atmosphere around an experience to allow people to be totally immersed in it.
Yeah.
But it takes some awareness, and it takes mindfulness.
Yes. To be able to
be present.
Yep.
To be there and to allow yourself and your mind to focus and be in the moment instead of going, I gotta work, I gotta think,
being in the past and present elsewhere.
Yeah, and so they call that the monkey mind. But so it's important taking a few little steps to build a higher level of mindfulness, and it builds confidence.
Oh, 100%.
So when you can observe and be self-aware, and then when you can be aware of others and their needs, it develops confidence in who you are and how you move, how you think, how you react and act into certain circumstances. So all of this is important for what we do and what we try to bring through the experience in our retreats and our tours.
Yes, absolutely.
So.
And to that point, if you can imagine, if you try to visualize what we're talking about here, imagine that you have a little bubble around you. And the more mindful and aware you are of anything and everything, the self and your surroundings, that bubble of presence that surrounds you expands. It's bigger. And you're able to take in more of what's happening around you. When you have little to no mindfulness and little to no self-awareness, that bubble is shrunk around your body, or if it existed at all. And with that, where's your mind? It's anywhere but where you are. And so that's what we're trying to help people better understand, better about themselves and about how others interact throughout the world, navigate throughout the world. It helps bring us to a better place, helps bring peace of mind to yourself by knowing that there's confidence with you and your decisions and your actions based on your mindfulness and your self-awareness. All those outside stressors, whether it's from people, your job, or something physically challenging, they become a lot easier. They become a lot more palatable when you have that self-confidence that is rooted in that self-awareness and that mindfulness.
Absolutely.
It's just, to us, it's pretty clear, but we understand that through our interaction with so many people that we take out into these places, we realize it's not quite so obvious to everyone. And through realizing that, you and I have made it clear that, well, we want to help people with that. It's something that we feel very strongly about. We prioritize
It's our
for
calling.
ourselves. I'm sorry.
It's our calling.
It's our calling, exactly.
It is.
100%. Yeah.
What we were designed to do.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right.
Tony Robbins says, one of the great teachers of mindfulness and awareness, says that calls us deletion creatures, because our brain is only capable of taking in so much information, 40,000 bits of information at each second that we're processing constantly. And so mindfulness and self-awareness allow you to expand that and actually utilize all of that instead of squandering a bunch of it on information that's coming into your senses, into your brain, that you don't need to experience the moment. And so, you know, we use certain types of sessions and things to help you elevate that potential. So, I mean, you know, this is what we do. We practice it regularly. I noticed yesterday on a tour, I was at the Grand Canyon yesterday, both of us were, and as we left the canyon and we're taking the drive back, my people are going through their pictures, and I took most of the pictures of them, you know, and because they were claiming they are not very good photographers. And as they begin to go through the pictures, their presence of mind looking at those pictures and remembering that experience that they were going through at the time was absolutely phenomenal. And there were a few times I got goosebumps listening to them talk about and being thrilled with that moment that they captured, and now they can share it with their family.
And that, now that memory is even more fortified and imprinted in their mind and in who they
richer and more fulfilling, and creates a better depth into the emotional field that we possess.
It's a much more lasting experience. It has a more significant impact on what they remember, but also who they are. I mean, you know, our experiences in life are what define our character and help build us as individuals. And we're constantly changing. I mean, we try to maintain core values and such, but we're, as people, we constantly are on an evolutionary path throughout our lifetime, and all the different interactions that we have throughout our life help shape who we are. And when you can have more of those positively reinforced experiences, just like you described, it creates a more positive person out of you.
Absolutely.
And that's what we should all strive for.
At the end of the day, yesterday, as they're cruising through their experiences, and I did a pano of them doing a couple of funny things, and my guest was a doctor, and I had stopped as we were coming into town, and he said, "You know what?" He says, "I cannot thank you enough for taking you out of my life for a few hours today to allow me to be here, to be present, and to be in this most wonderful place that we just experienced together today." And I got goosebumps again.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. You know, it was so awesome to be able to be part of that with somebody.
To help facilitate that, to help create that situation.
To help create it. And we know it because we go and we do these things regularly, and we have the experience to know how to bring that best of that experience into your being and into your experience. So, but it was such a blessing. It was so cool to have him say that, to recognize that.
To have acknowledgement of that.
And
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
There we go. Bring it
Yep,
back. Gino, with that being said, what do you say we give some of these folks some examples of how they can start implementing some practices within their life now for self-awareness and mindfulness that can start acting as a bridge to access places like this in the future with people like yourself and I?
Yeah, I mean, it's important for you to get started developing that level of self-awareness and mindfulness, so that you know, when you come in with us, if you get that opportunity, or maybe with somebody else, that you are already on your path.
Yeah.
You know, you're already down the road
moving
with that, in that direction, because in every facet of life, it has benefits. So how do you start?
So some things that we can start with how, to help improve mindfulness and self-awareness, is
Show me the way.
go into the basics, breath work, breathing.
That is number one.
It's number one for almost everything, right? And think about why that is, because every action that our body performs, whether it be a conscious or subconscious action, some of the autonomous action of the body, it all begins with your breath. And guess what? It ends with your breath. It is the start and the end of everything we do. And so if we want to bring that over to the realm of mindfulness and better self-awareness, well, it's pretty simple. Getting down into a space that has little to no distractions around you, a seated position is usually preferred, but really whatever's comfortable for you, and just beginning to breathe slowly and deeply. There's many, many different methods and practices out there for how you can enhance and manipulate your breath and how that therefore influences your body and your mind. But we can get into those more nuanced and specific practices later. Right now, keep it simple, very simple. Slow everything down, ground yourself, and just begin breathing deep and slow. And the more you do that, the more you focus inward on that breath, all of a sudden you begin unlocking all these other awarenesses of yourself. You start to feel other things, both emotionally and physically. You start to tap into other energies around you, really. And once you start to do that and you really heighten your awareness of that, it only creates a ever-evolving path that your mind can go on to and that your body can facilitate through the physiological response of increasing the oxygenation of your body and your brain. When you can just do that 5 minutes a day for a week straight, you will notice an improvement on your mental and physical well-being just from that alone. I mean, not adding anything else onto it. I mean, that is a very quick experiment for how powerful breath work can be.
Absolutely.
You agree with that, Gene?
I absolutely agree with it, and I think that I'm very fortunate. My mother taught me at a very young age, around 11, 12 years old, to meditate and using breath work.
Yep.
And eventually, it became a switch for me.
Yeah.
As soon as I start into that breath work, and we have a couple of really fabulous techniques, and I think we should probably do a video one of these
Yeah,
days
we'll
about
probably do a video about that.
it is a switch that just puts me into the moment. But let's move beyond that. And so, we want to start with little things, but one thing that is really important for us is that aids in bringing in mindfulness and quick focus is mindful movement.
Of course, yep.
And so there are techniques, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, that are very, very beneficial. One of the favorite things that I love to do, especially when I'm out for a walk, and I know you might think this is childish, I love to walk on curbs. It has so many benefits.
Absolutely.
But when you're walking on a curb, you got to be focused on what you're doing, because you don't want to fall off and twist an ankle. But it's just a balance, but here, and it's all in here, just walking on a curb. I love when I'm out with my clients and we're hiking, I like to walk on rocks. In a boulder field or in a drainage or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it just automatically takes you into that.
It almost forces you into that mindfulness, that awareness.
Simple things, I know you've used this in the gym before, walking a line or doing crisscross walking a line. So just lay down a little piece of rope or a string or the cord around your robe and just walk down it or crisscross your feet around it. Just those simple things bring you into that moment and bring you into focus. And as you begin to build on that and create some repetition with that, boom, it takes you right into that moment. And you can utilize that. We talked about the benefits. So another thing that is really beneficial, my wife is a writer. So it's journaling. So after you've had an experience, write it down, journal it. Now we all know we've lost this gift that we have in modern technology, but when you write something down physically with your hand, with a pen, with pencil, it attaches it to your brain,
Absolutely.
to your synapses in your brain.
I can relate to that.
So for those of you who are really good at or have an ability to write comfortably, have an experience, write it down. And I want to share a quick moment with you. For my 50th birthday, my wife, a writer, she journaled all of our experiences. When we were young, we hiked mountains and canyons, and my 50th birthday, she compiled a group of those experiences together, gave it to me on a book, and sent me off to climb up on a glacier. I read those in the middle of the night. I couldn't tell you how many times it brought tears to my eyes. I was overwhelmed completely. And so those experiences were relived completely again, the emotional experience and everything of it. So that is a great way to bring that mindfulness and self-awareness and add it to the enrichment of experiences in life. Now, for some people, maybe writing is not in your forte. Maybe it's just not something that you're good at. And so, like I had talked a little bit ago, that really focusing on taking some pictures and then going back and reviewing those pictures and looking at those pictures.
Another great way to do something similar.
Right, is to, because every time that you relive, rethink, you establish or develop a stronger connection to that memory in the brain, into the synapses that creates that memory. It makes it stronger.
Yep. It's only reinforcing
it reinforces it. And so that's what we want. Well, what is life about? It's about making memories that you can take with you to the end, and reinforcing those, and being able to relive that emotional experience that you had, So it's just, we're just trying to make the best out of it. And so
and to that point, technology. I want to talk about that and its impact on mindfulness and awareness, self-awareness. It's a tool, like many other things, right? Technology nowadays, your phone, it's a great tool. You can take pictures to do exactly what you were just saying. You can use it to do audio logs, to record. Again, if writing specifically to journal is not your preferred method or your strength, there's other ways to do this. And technology has helped us to expand that toolbox.
So
however,
absolutely.
There's also a duality to that, right? There's another side to that coin with technology, and that is that while technology has, without a doubt, brought some incredible tools and capabilities to the human experience, it also presents some challenges, some very real challenges that most of you are probably aware of. We're all, to some degree or other, aware of. But how strong is that awareness? How strong is that self-awareness of how technology can negatively impact your ability to be mindful and aware of yourself and those and what is around you? Well, sitting on your phone, going through games, watching videos, or just mindlessly, what do they call it, doom scrolling through social media. What is that? Is that presence of mind? Is that being self-aware? Is that being mindful of really anything? No, that's your mind being transported somewhere else.
It's looking for stimulus.
It's looking for
It's
stimulus.
looking for
elsewhere.
excitement.
Yes.
Yeah, elsewhere.
Not authentically from within yourself.
Right.
And so what we want to do is help show you some alternative ways to get that same level of excitement and endorphin release, but doing it naturally from within, finding that organically within yourself, disconnecting from that phone, getting away from the TV for a bit, put down that video game, whatever it may be, stepping away from the digital realm and becoming more present for, well, the real world, life,
living.
Yeah. And again, I'm not here to say that technology is this evil entity. Sometimes it might feel like that, but it's a benign thing, at least.
It is a benign thing.
It's how we utilize these tools, right? If anything else. And if you allow that technology to consume your being, it's a net negative. But if you allow it to be a tool to access some of the higher qualities of the human experience, guess what? It's a useful tool. It's a net positive. So that's another great way to quickly change your ability to be more mindful and to be more self-aware in your own life. Just unplug a little bit more often. I'm not saying you got to give it up and abstain absolutely, but just shorten some of that time on some of those devices. Incorporate that with a little bit of mindfulness, meditation, breath work, as we were talking about before. Maybe go outside and play a little game with yourself walking down the street. I don't know if you grew up in the time where they talked about the game, step on a crack, you break your mother's back. Was that
I remember the saying.
Yeah, so it's just one example of how you can play little games with yourself to immerse yourself in the moment.
Absolutely.
And to physically apply your body in a three-dimensional environment. Whether it's stepping on cracks, avoiding cracks, walking on rocks like you were talking about before, walking on that curb. Just find your own way. make your own game,
Yeah.
to keep
To
yourself
immerse yourself.
focused and to immerse yourself
Yeah.
into the present moment. And all of that is only going to continue to reinforce this concept of being more present, self-aware, and mindful of yourself and everything around you. And honestly, talk about a simple way to just have a better quality of life. This is what you got to attack first, in my opinion. And some of the tools that we're sharing with you guys now, it's a great jumping point, great starting point. But no, it's a path, it's a journey, just like anything else in life.
It is a journey,
And this
it's
is
a path.
just the start that we're helping to show you guys.
Yeah.
Let us take you to where the real meat and potatoes of this journey is. And places like this, that's where this all ties back into our beloved concept of nature therapy. It's probably one of the most powerful modalities to improve the quality of life anywhere in this world. So this is just a way to kind of get you guys started on that path
Yep.
towards eventually, whether that's with us on your own or with someone else, just accessing the natural world, the real world a little bit more to just be a part of it.
So, really some great suggestions. So now it's up to you.
Yeah,
You are in the driver's seat of your life.
exactly.
We can build some roads for you to take you to some extraordinary places, and we invite you to come along with us if you have that desire, that opportunity. But today, do one of these little things. Do some breath work. Maybe journal a great experience that you had to reinforce that memory. Take a picture of something sacred to you, something special to you, and hold that and look at it a few times so that it reinforces that memory. Go out and walk on a curb and be childish for a few minutes. Put down your phone for a little bit. Do something creative.
And Gino, to that point, that what you just said, be childish for a little bit, man, that just speaks volumes. It really does.
It does.
Because as we get older, we lose sight and connection with our inner child. And
Absolutely.
talk about one of the most important qualities of being a living human is being a child and never losing sight of what that experience is like. We can always be
That connection
children
to
again.
awe.
Yes, the
Yeah.
connection to awe, exactly.
That is it. That is
so guys,
exactly what it
just,
is.
I'm not saying be immature, but let a little bit of your inner child out every once in a while and
Yeah.
just let the world impress you once again.
Allow yourself to live.
Allow-
So again, you're in the
yourself-
driver's seat.
Yep.
Take control. It is your life. I know you want an extraordinary life. These things help you get there and stay there. And so, if you like what we're talking about and everything, subscribe to our channel. Push that button and come back and visit us again.
Once
All right,
again, my
guys?
name's Nick.
Nick, Gino,
And we are
we're
VIP
signing off.
Adventures.
We'll see you at our next incredible place.
Take care, guys.
Bye.